I do believe we are live. Yeah, sweet. Well, shalom, welcome. Tonight we're in Joshua chapter 4. It's exciting. Dude, it's exciting. So, I'm going to actually differentiate my video, pick my, thumbnails now, because at least I'm going to try to anyway. I've been kind of lazy about it and spent more time working on the content of what it is that I'm going to be talking about rather than actually setting up something for my videos. So anyway, welcome. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. So what's up here? Alright. I might have to pull up Discord over on my other monitor here in a minute. Hold up here. I'm trying to make sure. Okay, I think I'm connected, at least mostly. Yeah, I am connected over here in Discord in case anybody else wants to join in. Well, anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So we're in Joshua chapter 4. Let's pray real quick, and then we're gonna get into what it is that's in the text and talk about some application that we can have possibly for our lives and what this can mean for us as individuals. Thank you, Father, for this day. Thank you for what you do for us. We thank you for your kindness. We thank you for grace and blessings that you give us. Lord, I ask that we would hear from you, come to know you. I pray, Lord, for our leaders in our country with everything going on with the Iran situation. Lord, I ask that you will give our president and his cabinet tremendous wisdom on what to do, and that you would give discernment to them with all of the push and pull of other countries and everything that's happening. I pray, Lord, that you will be with us, that we will hear from you, hear your word, and do what you ask us to. That we would be a blessing to those around us, that which the blessing that we are supposed to be is to make you known to all people, and that people will come to know who you are through the lives that we live and through the example that we set of you. In Jesus' name, amen. Alright, so let's get started. So chapter 4. Where's my mouse? There it is. Okay. When the whole nation had finished crossing the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua, "Choose 12 men from among the people, one from each tribe, and tell them to take up 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, from right where the priests are standing, and carry them over to you, and put them down in the place where you stay tonight." So Joshua called together the 12 men that he had appointed from the Israelites, one from each tribe, and said to them, "Go over before the ark of the Lord into the middle of the Jordan. Each of you is to take up a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of tribes of Israel, 12, to serve as a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, what did these stones mean? Tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord when it crossed over the Jordan. The waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever." So the Israelites did as Joshua commanded them. Then they took 12 stones from the middle of the Jordan, according to the number of tribes of the Israelites, as the Lord had told Joshua, and they carried them over with them to their camp, where they put them down. Joshua set up the 12 stones that had that that had been in the middle of the Jordan, at the spot where the priests who carried the Ark of the Covenant had stood, and they are there to this day. Now the priests who carried the ark remained standing in the middle of the Jordan until everything the Lord had commanded Joshua was done by the people, just as Moses had directed to Joshua. The people hurried over, and as soon as all of them had crossed, the ark of the Lord and the priests came to the other side while the people watched. The men of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh crossed over, ready for battle, in front of the Israelites, as Moses had directed them. About 40,000 armed for battle crossed over before the Lord to the plains of Jericho for war. That day the Lord exalted Moses in the sight of all Israel, and they stood in awe of him all the days of his life, just as they had stood in awe of Moses. Remember in the previous chapter it was talking about I will glorify you or exalt you, whatever it is, before the people. Yeah, that. Then the Lord said to Joshua, command the priests carrying the ark of the covenant law, to come up out of the Jordan. So Joshua commanded the priests, come up out of the Jordan. And the priests came up out of the river, carrying the ark of the Lord. No sooner had they set their feet on the dry ground than the waters of the Jordan returned to their place and ran at flood stage as before. On the 10th day of the first month, the people went up from the Jordan, camped at Gilgal on the eastern border of Jericho, and Joshua set up at Gilgal the 12 stones they had taken out of the Jordan. He said to the Israelites, in the future, when your descendants ask their parents, what do these stones mean? Tell them, Israel crossed over the Jordan on dry ground. For the Lord your God dried up the Jordan before you until they had crossed over. The Lord your God did to the Jordan what he had done at the Red Sea, when he dried it up before us until we had crossed over. He did this so that the peoples of the earth might know that the hand of the Lord is powerful, and so that you might always fear the Lord your God. So I named my live stream Legacy. My thumbnail was, I did stuff. So one of the aspects of the title of my live stream is legacy. Well, for the picture that I did, for it. The thing within this chapter is legacy is a big deal. What we leave for the future generations is important. Now, when we die, everything that we do will eventually fall to dust, but the work that we do for the Lord endures. Now, that's kind of important for us to remember, because so many of us look at things and go, oh, it all just turns to dust, and when we die, there's nothing. The world will eventually fall into nothingness, and then it will be all done and over. Well, the Bible doesn't teach that, everything will just kind of dissipate into nothingness. That's just not true. Christ will return, and he will set up an eternal kingdom. He'll set up for 1,000 years, and then there'll be a time to choose, and then there'll be more time going forward and all. That'll be eternity. But what we need to realize here is that we have to leave behind a legacy that will note the work of God that is done through us. And that is one of the biggest parts about this chapter that I've seen. And it is important that the life that we live and the things that we do go to glorify the Lord as much as possible, with as much as we can do, with everything that we have. So, and the other aspect of this is memory. With legacy comes memory. We have to remember from where we came, who we are, whose we are, and from where we came. These are very important aspects of our faith and what we believe in and what we do and all that jazz. It's so important that we do that. It's so important. Think about this. We take time here in America to remember our history. We specifically go out of our way to know American history, know the legacy of the people who founded this country, and what they did and why they did it and all that jazz. And that's really important. That's really important stuff. That's good for us to know that. And because we need to know from where we came to have a better understanding of how we get to the future and why we are the way we are today. The beliefs and values that we carry today are the result of a past that may be checkered, but inevitably it built us forward into something far greater than had we not taken that path in the first place. So it's really important that we remember, and that's what they're doing here, is they're making a memorial to the work of God done in their lives as a people. And we as a church lose that sometimes. We forget that we need to leave a legacy of God's work in our lives to future generations so that they have an understanding that God moves through us when we make good choices, that when we do things that are to benefit Him and so on, doing what He has asked, to be a part of His job of redemption, His whole goal of redemption for all of creation, because that's His goal. That's His whole goal. And so we need to be able to say, look at what God has done through us. And that's so important for us to do, just in general. So, yeah, that is my spiel for the night on that. So, shall we get into a game? Let us proceed. So, okay. Ooh. Trying to make adjustments here. Over on another monitor. Alright, there we go. Well, anywho, yeah, that's kind of my spiel on that stuff, because these are very important little tidbits of things to keep in mind as we live our lives and try to serve the Lord. So, hold on here. I need to do a quick ban. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm kind of intrigued. Share your thoughts in the comments about how you feel about the whole conflict over in the Middle East. I'd be curious to see what your thoughts are. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that. It's helpful. It helps the channel out. It's mostly I'm doing this because I really want, people to, I want to be a positive impact on people's lives and things like that. That's mostly what I want to do. And even if I don't really make any money at this, that's okay. I am doing something to be a help, to be positive in people's lives. Yeah, okay. I did turn all the volume all the way down. If you are watching this later on down the line, tell me what your favorite biblical character is. If you're watching right now, go ahead and share. Or if you're watching when I'm live streaming, just share who your favorite Bible character is. Man, I dislike everything about their team comp again. I dislike everything about my opponent's team comp. I'm just hoping that my computer doesn't crash and then give me an issue where I have to shut down and start over. So, alright, let's see. I'm going to keep attempting this build until I see a reason to not keep using this build. Yes, that's nice. I don't really care about the overlays. Doesn't really matter much to me. Oh, dang it. Oh, so Aurelian Soul legitimately is my... Oh boy, this team comp is kinda troll. Our team comp is kinda troll. Oh, she's going blue. Or, yeah, she's going for a blue buff first. Fine by moi. Hey now. Rude. Yeah, the I've been listening to some stuff as it relates to the whole Iran bombing sort of situation. Um, that's kind of crazy in my mind, but I understand the reasoning for saying, yeah, Iran cannot be allowed to have nuclear weapons. And it's not because it's like, oh, well, we're the only ones who are allowed to. It's like, no, these people have been funneling money into terrorist organizations for years. And they're just a government filled with people who just want to see the world burn. And that's not good. That's like really bad. And we really don't need that. The last thing we really need is a a country that's just bent on killing people to have the capacity to really, really hurt people. Oh, I got him. I mean, I don't really particularly like the idea of any country having nuclear weapons. Ah, I'm not a big fan of really anybody having access to nuclear weapons, but at this point, there's not much we can do about the fact that that countries have nuclear weapons. Just as long as they're not likely to get used. They're so unlikely to get used, generally speaking, just because, excuse me, of the theory of mutually assured destruction. Seriously, pardon me. Oh. Because of mutually assured destruction. And we have weapons, and there are weapons that are built that are so much more actively destructive and do so much more damage, just as a rule, just does so much more, that just has so much more destructive power, that without nuclear fallout, that the need for nuclear weapons is so incredibly low. The need to use nuclear weapons is exceptionally low. Ow. My bad. They have a lot of... They have a really good spread of damage. Yeah. The... Just the whole idea of mutually assured destruction really does make a big difference on whether or not they get used. Whether or not nuclear weapons get used just in general. I'm not a big fan of doing things that are actively war-like, because launching bunker busters on sorry, heard a vehicle outside. On other countries. Hang on a second here. Then change into different clothes, honey. I have the air conditioning going. So, sorry. Nice. We made it out. I'm impressed. I mean, I got a blue buff. That's cool, but now I gotta go. I've really gotta leave because this is gonna be bad. This is gonna go so poorly if I don't leave right now. What to do? I've got a whole garage sale of items right here. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that Iran, whatever, was so bent on just killing off so many people and just killing off other countries and stuff like that, I'd be like, do we really need to be doing this? But there was an attempt to have negotiations, but the negotiations were basically fruitless because Iran is trying to be like, no, we will not bow to these people and do as they say. But you know what? If you're going to do that, you can't play hardball with the most powerful country in the world, the most powerful military and economic force globally, and expect to win when you're a Middle Eastern country that has treated your people like trash for a bunch of years and has done things to your country and to your people that we're actually doing okay. They're back in like the 1970s, because actually 1970s Iran actually didn't look all that different than American 1970s. There was actually a tremendous number of similarities, and there wasn't as much religious zealotry in terms of Islam. Just it wasn't there. But you know what? It's there because, and it's partly our fault because we destabilized the government years and years ago. We destabilized the Iranian government many, many years ago. And yeah, that was America's fault. And there was a regime change as a result of our involvement, and it made a big mess. It just did. It made just one giant mess. And which is truly unfortunate. Because they were actually a fairly reasonably advancing and half decent country years ago, at least based on the pictures that I've seen. And then we got involved and we did some stuff and really messed things up and allowed Islam to become an extreme ideology in the region, and it made a big mess. Women very quickly began to lose rights. Their economy got worse. It was such a big mess. Yeah, it's very strange because we as America, we have a long history of supporting really bad people and very bad governments. We have a really bad history of supporting like people like Stalin. Like we we supported Stalin and Mao Zedong back in World War II. It's like, yeah, I understand the whole premise of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, but um those weren't friends. Those they were not our friends. Let's be clear. Those were evil men. Killing 160 plus million people. Between the two of them. Yeah, that's like really not cool. Alright, let's see. Oh my goodness. This Alistar, he's behind in CS, but like, I'm impressed. He's holding on. He's down 30 CS, but he's not negative on his KDA. But of course he has no assists either. I'm getting so much help bot lane. It's wonderful. So the next game that I play, I'm not going to get any help whatsoever. That's just how it's going to go. I know it. I just know that's how this is going to go. Uh-huh. That's hilarious, man. That is hilarious. All right. Man, that's a lot of damage right there. Looks like y'all need a little help. Oh, Alistar, really? You you bumped her, you head butted her into me. That wasn't cool, bro. That literally was just not cool. I was literally able to dodge part of the ultimate. That didn't work real well now, did it? Making sure I didn't see a Briar ultimate come flying in, because I have no idea how short that cooldown is, or how long it is. I have no clue. I've never played Briar before. Like, it's very much the whole, like, oh, this is the Joker, but a really freaky version. And slightly more demonic in that regard, which is kind of not cool, but yeah, there are a bunch of themes in this game that I don't particularly care for. Because a lot of it is not actually good. A lot of those themes are not good. But then there are so many like memes and jokes that are in the game too, which those are kind of fun. You want to go for another round, Ash? You want to do it again? I mean, I'm feeling good. I mean, you got more crit than I do, but I've got more health than you do. Oh, you're going on hit. I'm gonna go ahead and get my next item. Alistar, top lane. I really don't know what I think about that. That seems so strange to me. He's 1, 1, and 4. So, I mean, okay. He's obviously doing something that's working. But, I don't know. Okay. You got the tower, but I got you. Yeah, Mukau Alistar, best skin in the game. Without question. Yes, please take dragon. Ah. Man, their wave clear is actually really good. So can someone please explain to me the logic of boots in this game? Because it just doesn't make sense. Cassiopeia cannot buy boots because she's a snake lady. But Aurelian Soul, who's a flying space dragon, can. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why? Well, that was a waste of a flash. You know what? Let's do Navori Quick Blades, because then I can actually get my stuff back up faster. The original Tristana passive. I need just a little bit more gold. Is there nothing in this lane? Because they're just cutting them off. Yeah, they're just cutting off the minions. Whatever. There's no easy way for me to get the last little bit of gold that I need. This Alistar is still 50 gold behind, but he's still relevant. I'm thoroughly impressed. Oh. Ah. Alright, cool. That only gives me 40% attack speed, whereas this gives me 60%. 4% movement, this gives me 8% movement. I get ghosted, but this reduces my abilities cooldowns, which that feels better when I auto attack. Alright, let's go ahead and go mid lane, keep mid lane pushed. Alistar, he's doing okay. I mean, I've never seen a top lane Alistar work, but I'm not going to complain if it's getting the job done, so why not? See, I get to the end of that, and then all of a sudden, guess what? Bye. Yeah, saw that coming. I'm a little too strong for Briar at the moment. She's got a lot of good items and all. Holy smokes, man. That ultimate is just gnarly. Alright, let's get the lifesteal. Actually, let's go right there. You can jump straight over. I dislike the fact that Riot changed it to where none of the lifesteal items give you crit. I actually greatly dislike that. And sweet. I can just keep my abilities up. This is actually a lot more helpful. Sweet. I'm having a good game. 10, 4, and 6. That's a GG. That is a good game. Sweet. Ugh. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet victory. I don't know. Everybody on our team did so well. I'm gonna go ahead and honor Aurelion Sol, I think. Even though I try to honor my support whenever I can, because supports and junglers always get so much hate. They all get so much hate. And you know what? Honor them when they do a good job. Honor your supports and your jungler whenever they do an alright job. Always do that. Because they get a lot of hate for when you lose. I lost lane because you didn't gank. Has nothing to do with the fact that I played badly. Dude, I'm at 70 LP. Hey, I got 3 honors. Wow. I didn't even get an S in that game. Kane did the most damage. Wow. I did the 3rd highest overall. It's not terribly surprising, but he did go 23 and 4, so he did have an exceptional KDA on that game. I will give him credit for this. What? This game gets this client is so buggy. It glitches so bad. Alright. Memories of Uzi. What is this memory of Uzi?
And again, they move from buff to buff. Now on red buff, but it's going to be Ning with the initiation, looking to knock back MLC, but he doesn't get it. Misses the
Let's see, he's playing...
The
oh my goodness. Dude. Oh, I remember those days of being able to... Dude, I remember the days.
Actually, the 6th professional pentakill we've seen from Uzi so far. A lot of them happened on Vayne, a lot of them on other champions, but that's going to be the first one for Kaisa right there. They set up the...
Yeah. I remember the days when you could play on hit Kaisa. That was when I hit silver. Those were the days, man. Those were the days where you could just literally play on hit Kaisa and you could just annihilate a team fight because you could survive without much trouble, and literally you could just play and win. You could just play that build. It took you a little bit to scale, but you could just win games, at least in low elo, because your on hit scaled so great, and all the items that you gave you upgrades on both your Q, gave you for all three of your abilities, your Q, W, and E. It made it easy. Thanks, I. Hang on. I thought that wasn't going to be a thing anymore. Well, yeah. Cat's in bed with Cora. Bottom. We'll let her have one night and we'll talk to her about it tomorrow, okay? I know. This is more going to be my battle than yours. I realize this. I put some stuff up on Facebook and we'll see what happens. Worst case, I take them somewhere. Yeah. A lot of it. Alright. Anyway. Oh, the the there's one small part of the title for the video that I forgot to talk about. Following. So the Israelites were following God's commands, following His orders. Because they were told, hey, you need to cross the Jordan when the priests carrying the ark cross. And to which it was like, alright. They followed and did what God had told them to do. That was the big deal. So it's important that we do the same. When He moves, you move. Where He goes, you have to go. That's how this works, man. It's just how it works. Water. Let's retrieve some water. Oh, man. Gosh. I've got a... I have a part here for a guitar that It's the whammy bar. It's bent. I do guitar lessons, and one of my students has an electric guitar, and I'm teaching them how to play. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This isn't good. This is not good. Vanguard. Oh gosh, this program is terrible. Vanguard is such an awful program. I understand that it has fixed some of the problems that they're wanting to fix, but it has made such a mess out of their game. Oh, crud. Oh, this stinks. Well, I might have to end the live stream right here. Well, anyway, may the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face to shine upon you.